Within days of his inauguration, President Trump issued an executive order denying federal funding to sanctuary cities. And now we may have some idea of the potential financial impact that order may have on these localities. One America's John Hines has more from Washington.
Following President Trump's executive order denying federal funding for sanctuary cities, few politicians, pundits, and journalists could say with accuracy the amount of federal funding at risk to these cities. Now it appears we may have an answer.
We aggregated all the data we found in full year 2016. $27 billion flowed from the feds to the 106 self-proclaimed sanctuary cities. So we wanted to give context, and we wanted to provide essentially a blueprint for the White House to say, okay, well, we have the power to enable many of these federal level agencies, cabinet agencies like HUD, like the EPA, like the DOT, that doles out huge amounts of grants to these cities.
Of that $27 billion, the biggest chunk goes to just two sanctuary cities, Washington, D.C. and Chicago, says Matthew Tiermod of OpenTheBooks.com, a federal budget watchdog website.
It equals out to over $3,200 a person and $12,900 for a family of four for Washington, D.C., that's the municipal government. And then the city of Chicago, which received the second highest amount of federal funding on a per capita basis, almost $2,000 per person and $7,800 per family of four. That equaled out to $5.3 billion total out of this bucket we have of $27 billion.
And the prospect of these cities losing that $5.3 billion in funding could give the Trump administration real leverage in persuading these sanctuary cities and possibly others to change their policies, says Tiermod.
Just the threat to especially these big 12 cities that the feds and the Fed, the executive branch, has the power on the cabinet agencies, DOT, Transportation, Housing and Urban Development, DOJ through law enforcement. They can curtail some of these grants and direct payments, but they do not have the capital that they can, be very cavalier, flout federal law, and then lose huge amounts of federal funding coming in, whether it's for their housing, for their schools, for law enforcement, for civic projects of any sort.
Tiermod says that the website OpenTheBooks.com has identified on a, quote, granular level the federal money is going to all 106 sanctuary cities. John Hines, One American News, Washington.